depending on what you want to do, let me make this bigger again. You can either see parts of the statements or there are a lot of footnotes to financial statements as well, because not everything is on the balance sheet. There are certain things that are off balance sheet, but that are still relevant and material to the investors and stakeholders. Those are called notes to financial statements. For example, if I want to see income statement, that's what it's going to show me. I know the last 3 years, 12 months ended. Okay? If you want to know only the fourth quarter, well, you have to download the previous 10Q because that gives you the 9 months and get the difference. Unfortunately, that's how they report it. Or if you do this only if you just want to see things in line, but if you are intending to do further analysis, click on View Excel Documents. This is an Excel file that contains every single table in that file, right? And I'm gonna put this on our, as soon as I save it. This is 10K 2022 NVIDIA. And let me put that to the beginning. If you guys, you can download it yourself, or I'm gonna post it right here under lecture videos, January 25. If I do any changes, I'm going to replace that at the end of the class with the change version, but if you want to simply work on that, go ahead and work on that. And I'm going to go ahead and open that file. I definitely need a new computer, but hopefully Daddy's gonna win an award and get the school pay for it. We'll see. If not, I'm gonna wait for it to make some money from options and pay for that. Because this laptop is about 4 years old. Of course it didn't. Let me. I hate these kinds of issues Microsoft creates. It's running Windows 10 instead of 11. And these apps are requiring more and more resources. Okay, enable editing. All right. Every single table-like thing in that filing is in this Excel file. There are certain things you want to know. For example, what's the total number of shares, floating at least, 434, and that's in probably millions. Anyway, in terms of names of the financial statements, unfortunately, there is no standard. Some companies call it statement of income. Some companies call it statement of operations. Some companies call it statement of profit and loss. But if you look at the statement, you kind of figure it out from its nature. First, let's look at the balance sheet. Okay, I'm going to make this a bit bigger. In this case, for balance sheet, you see only 2 years worth of stuff. If you look at it, it kind of has a certain organization to it, okay? Even the assets are not listed willy-nilly at random. What's going to tell me if they know what is the order in which you should list the assets in a balance sheet? Okay, what do you mean by liquid? Define.
How easily you can turn it into cash.
How easily you can turn it into cash without losing too much value. I can convert anything into cash easily. If I have an Airbus 310, if I list that at $2 million, that's going to go in 5 seconds on eBay. Okay, that doesn't mean that's a liquid asset because the damn thing is probably worth $100 million. I don't even know what it is. So liquidity is the speed at which we can convert an asset into cash without essentially getting a haircut. Obviously, what's the most liquid asset? Cash. There is actually cash and cash equivalents. These are basically cash, literal cash, and the money that you have in bank accounts that are either in demand deposits or short-term time deposits. But a lot of times, we look at the marketable securities of the funds, it's almost cash-like. There's a difference between a marketable security and a security that's not that liquid. If I own 1,000 shares of NVIDIA, that's roughly worth $600,000. And in today's market, I can dump that within seconds. Okay? It's not a problem. But if I own 10% of NVIDIA, which is about $150 billion, it's going to take me a while to dump that without actually creating a lot of price impact. If somebody sells $150 billion of NVIDIA, let me show you what the trading volume is. I do carry it in my retirement portfolio, my Roth IRA. Basically, I maxed it out for 23 and 24. Robinhood essentially gave me $465 for free. They do a 3% match. Where's my stuff? Oh, it's still loading. And NVIDIA. Its average volume is 47 million shares. Well, that's actually still a lot of money. But typically when you have somewhat controlling interest, we don't view those as liquid. And there are also accounting rules that define what marketable securities are. When you buy shares in a company, you kind of have to designate its purpose. You can have it for trade, you can have it held to maturity, or as a not for sale. Okay? We're not going to worry about that in this class, but this basically says NVIDIA has about $4.5 billion in cash. Right? Cash and almost cash. The next category is accounts receivable. It's going to tell me from this side what accounts receivable are.
Money that are owed from other people.
Yes, but these are short-term monies that are owed. Short-term monies that are owed to the firm. These are typically trade credit. I sell my goods to a customer and I tell him, you can pay me in 90 days. Okay? That would be that's called a trade credit. It's also an accounts receivable. If it has maturity more than a year, typically it carries interest too. Those are called notes receivable. But notes receivable are more like longer term assets. In fact, we do a general designation of assets into two. Current assets, these are assets that you figure you could convert to cash without much of a haircut within an accounting cycle. And the fixed assets, it's all the other assets. The next, you're looking at inventories. Again, technically speaking, depending on the company, inventories may be more liquid, but if it's Walmart, they're probably more liquid than accounts receivable. Well, this is the convention. Then it's pretty much the other current assets. In many cases, for example, you pay